Hi, I'm Brenda Yoho, and welcome to Solution Saturday. So I want to talk again about the book that I've written, Lead with Two Rules, Feeling Good and Feeling Safe. I talked last week about if you had someone that you looked up to, which is on page 73 in the book. It's about the resiliency skills that we're trying to build with our children in school. And if you haven't gotten a copy yet, please get one. And if you have read it, please write a review and leave it on Amazon. I love going and checking that to see what kind of opinions people have of the book. And let me know if you're having trouble with getting it. Just reach out to me and I'd be more than happy to send one to you. I really want this book to get out into the hands of everyone that it possibly can. So, I want to continue talking about those resiliency skills that we're trying to build with our children. And I think it's important for us to have them as ourselves and knowing that we have those skills to be able to go through and face the things that we face in life as well. So one of the things that's listed is about that you feel like you belong in school. And I want to go deeper than that. Do you feel like you belong at your workplace? Do you feel like you belong in your community? Where do you feel like you belong? That's an important question that we all want answered. And kids in particular really want to know that they belong. And I will tell you that as the principal of a middle school, my kids would come to me and would tell me that they would join a gang because they knew that they needed to belong to something, because when they left their homes, that at least they knew that they had a group of people who were going to watch out for them. And there was other people, that could be against them. If they didn't have anybody, then everybody was against them. And I thought, wow, that's a lot of pressure that kids have on their minds that they're thinking about. And we have to really take that into consideration, that children really want to feel like they belong. And that's what they're trying to do, especially as they're growing. That transition between elementary and middle school is tough. And it's even tougher between middle school and high school. And we need to be conscientious of that and really take some time to think about that and what we're doing to help our kids feel like that they belong. And as adults, we need to be thinking about, do we belong in our workplace? And how do we feel? Are we valued? I can tell you that I really never experienced that until I got into the workforce, and I've had it happen to me twice. Where I didn't feel valued. Not necessarily by the people I was working for when I was younger, but there was an impression that I was going to be coming in as the new person and taking a position that somebody had been there for a long time thought they were going to receive. And it put me in a really bad situation, because it was my hometown, it was people that I knew, and all of a sudden there was some hostility that I didn't foresee coming. And they were making it very difficult for me. And I ended up resigning from that and moving into education. So it was really a great move for me. I left a position and that I went to school for originally, and then got into the school system and then went back to school to get a teaching degree. So it was really a great move for me. And then as I got ready to end my career, I was in probably my final 5 years. I felt myself in that situation again. I wasn't feeling valued. And I was really working hard and doing lots of things. And I was struggling because my medication had been changed and I was fighting major migraines. I shared with you that I had a traumatic brain injury, and that happened way back in 2010. And all of a sudden I was having some issues, but my trial was going on and my workload was was being increased, and I wasn't feeling good about being where I was. And that all worked out well too, because I left that and wrote a book. And I feel good about the writing the book and sharing it with many people. And I feel like that my resiliency was intact, where I fought through lots of different challenges and lots of different things. And because of my faith and my support system, I was able to overcome lots of things. That's why I think that we need a trusted adult for our children. We need to help them with having models of people they can look up to. And then we need to also make sure that we're helping them to feel like they belong. And we need to really think about being intentional with that and making sure that all of them are feeling like they belong. And there's lots of different ways that you can do that so that you can be strategic about it. One of the things, the techniques that we did when I was a principal, is that we divided up the kids into not homerooms, but advisory periods. But you can have them in homerooms too. And then the extra support staff were assigned to those different areas. And we divided up the kids so that kids knew that there was going to be somebody checking with them all the time. And that they were going to ask them about, how things were going with their outside activities, anything was happening in their life, things they were celebrating, beyond just checking on their grades and their discipline at school. Checking with them on just life in general and having some fun with them. And that's what it's all about, is helping kids to build that community with each other and within each of those areas, and feeling like that they do belong. One of the things that I would really encourage you to do is to start learning how to question, but not interrogate. Big difference. I didn't think that it was, but it is. All in the power of our words, which I know I've talked about before, and how we use those to help to generate those conversations we want to have. So start thinking about what kinds of questions that you can ask without interrogating, so that you can find out information that you're seeking. Some of the things that come to mind, I'm working with a community group and we're talking a little bit about bullying. And, you don't ever want to accuse someone of bullying, but you always want to ask about how people are treating each other. And in a what if this happened, what would you do? So one of the questions we could say, if someone was spreading a rumor about someone at school and you thought it was mean, what would you do? I always, think that's interesting to ask the kids how, what would you do? What if there was a rumor going around that we didn't know about? It's a good way to interrogate, but not interrogate. Do you see how the difference is? We're not accusing anybody, and we're not saying, we want you to tell us who. We want to you to tell us what the rumor is. We want you to just tell us how you would respond. How would you handle that? And another thing is, ask them about friends. So if you have a friend and a friend tells you a secret and it makes you worry and you think, it doesn't, it's not safe. It doesn't feel good. What would you do if the friend wanted you to keep that secret? What would you do? It's always good to ask kinds of questions like that, and just try to have those conversations about what's going on with them, with friendships and relationships and community. There's more questions, and I will try to provide more. And I think that just helping to bring value to them and helping them to understand that they're an important part of your learning community, your home, your community, and making sure that they know when they're absent, you noticed, Hey, I'm so glad to see you today. We missed you. I want you to make a big deal about it because I want kids to know that we recognize them and we know who they are. Always call them by name. Learn your kids' names. I want to tell you that it's approaching spring, so next week I'll start talking about looking for those signs of restlessness that we're going to be seeing with our kids because the weather's getting warmer, but also some depression signs. Because as spring gets here, testing, all these pressures are starting to come around, and then also the ending of the school year is going to be fast approaching. That weighs heavily on lots of kids' minds because all of a sudden their structured support system is going to be closed for a period of time as they head off for the summer. So it's important to start thinking and preparing for that as well. So I will see you next Saturday. So the problem is, do kids feel valued in your school, in your home, in your community? And how can we find a solution? By making sure that we're adding value to their lives, by letting them know how important they are to be part of our system. So thank you. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see you next week.